This is Ryan Michael Galloway with another Guerilla interview from the NAMM Summer Session 2007. And as I walked through this incredible expanse of instruments in the Austin Convention Center, I got to tell you, there was some just gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. These basses are a couple things I ran into. But right next to them was a huge booth for Dean Markley strings, where I met John Roof. We're good. We're here with John Roof from, is that right, John Roof or John Roof? Yeah, from Dean Markley. And I've used Dean Markley products for a long time myself. He's got something to tell us about. I'm going to focus in on it. This is the new Jimi Hendrix string. What's different about this one, John?
Well, you know, let me tell you the reason we got into the Jimi Hendrix string. We have a lot of endorsing artists, and Sheldon Reynolds from Earth, Wind & Fire, the guitar player, he's been a partner of ours for over 20 years, and he married into the Hendrix family. So around the dinner table they were talking about doing a guitar string, and he says, well, let's go see the people that I work with. I know them and trust them, and they'll do you right. So we went in and we talked about what they were looking for in a guitar string, and they wanted something that represented the sound and the types of strings that were done in the late 60s, early 70s. And so what we did was we went to our engineers and we designed a string that had that sound, that captured that sound. What we did is we went back to our original string, which was a round core string. Most of the strings on the market have a hex core.
Right, which kind of tries to lock in the wrapping so it doesn't slip as much, right?
And what that's about is you can run the winding machines a little faster, and the guy can go out and have a cigarette. He doesn't need as much maintenance. A round core, you have to slow it down. You have to have a hand operator on there running the machine. But the wrap is right around the string at all times. There's no gaps in there that you get with a hex core.
True.
So it gives you a better sustain and a better flexibility and a truer string. And it's more representative of the way strings used to sound. Then also we went to a higher grade nickel because they didn't add as many different metal products back in those days. And then on this model, we made it pure nickel. So this gives a warmer sound, a great sustain, a more of a Santana kind of sustain. And that's what we did that makes the Hendrix string different.
Do you find that they go a little, it's hard to articulate what I want to ask here, but sometimes those older strings kind of went thunkier faster, if you will, and that actually was preferred by some players. Do they do that, or do they retain their brightness a little, you know, as long as the hex strings, or what's the philosophy on that?
The whole idea of a dead string being preferred, I think, has been left in the dust over the years.
Well, bass players love it, but but I personally like a brighter, ringier string myself.
Yeah, I'm a bass player, and when I play a note, I want it to be an actual note. I want definition in there and punch.
Yeah.
And guitar players look for that too. The technologies that we use, we are starting with a round core, but we're using modern technologies to build these strings, so they're not going dead. They have a good, solid, long life.
Not to ask you something that might be, you know, beyond the technical expertise here, but is there any kind of adhesive? Is it just a real tight wind? Is there a seal at the end or a crimp at the end that keeps them from unraveling? How do they do that?
Over the years, we have, our engineers are always working. We have a full staff of artists that work with Dean Markley and have been for years and years and years. So we send all these things out. They're road tested by players in actual arena situations and in clubs and in tours, and anything that comes up that's a problem, we work on it and test it. And the way that we twist, lock, and the way that we wrap our strings, they don't come apart. In fact, one of our best endorsers is the Blue Man Group. They use our blue steels, and they beat the heck out of the strings.
And everything else.
and the way that they perform, and they play with different kinds of sticks and bows, and they pull on things, and they're probably our most demanding clients.
There's a test lab right there for you.
Yes, and sometimes we have to make alterations in the way that we make their strings, just because they beat the hell out of them with sticks. But no, we don't really have a problem with them coming apart.
Well, I've bought my three sets rather, and I'm gonna take them home and try them out myself. Thanks, John. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Take care now.